Yeah, this card may be one of the most broken draw supporters we've ever seen. Before we begin, I'd like to thank the sponsors of the channel, PDCGO Store, where you can buy codes with 5% off using the discount code FTW, and PokéXWord, a Pokemon puzzle and crossword website. Links to both of these websites are linked in the description down below. Now, let's get going. The new Pokemon Scarlet and Pokemon Violet EX set has been fully released by Pokemon, and we have the full list here, so I'm going to be reviewing it today to see if there's any standout cards and anything really special. Obviously, that big draw supporter looks a bit nuts, so we're definitely going to get there soon and find out why it's so strong. So let's just take a look at some of these cards and see what they do. This Cacney's quite funny, actually. Has an ability to counter-attack needles. If it's attacked by a Pokemon and damage is done to it, it puts 3 damage counters on them. So this is, funnily enough, like a very weak version of Chestnut, which does pretty much the same thing. And I'm assuming this stacks as well, funnily enough. So it all depends how good Cacturne is. So let's have a look at it quickly. The same ability, actually, counter-attack needles, but just 110 damage for 3 colorless energy. I could see this being something pretty cool. I mean, it's a single prize variant of that Chestnut, and Chestnut's quite fun and quite strong. Putting that into a 2 prize version that can do similar levels of damage is quite interesting. So this is already looking like a pretty fun little archetype, if I say so myself. We have an interesting Bolivar. I haven't played Scarlet and Violet myself, so I don't know a lot of these Pokemon. So I'm actually seeing a lot of new Pokemon today. This is a stage 2, of course, from the Smoliv line with that Fill Oil. Whenever you play this Pokemon from your hand to evolve one of your Pokemon during your turn, you may heal all damage from one of your Pokemon. This would be more interesting to see in a tank deck, but the fact that it's stage 2 is a bit problematic in my opinion. I mean, it'd be interesting to see how this plays out. You know, I can't really think of any decks at the top of my head that could really use this. Maybe some sort of Duraludon build that just likes to heal. But other than that, I can't really think of anything too special. But that said, it's something to take note of. Now, this Torkoal is going to be quite interesting because of that attack here with the Concentrated Fire. 80 damage, flip a coin for each head attached to this Pokemon has 80 damage times the number of heads. Now, it doesn't look too crazy on its own, but when you factor in the Amarouge, I think it's called. Again, barely know these Pokemon, so mispronunciations are going to happen. Plus, it's me. I could barely talk anyway. But it has a very strong ability, Fire Alarm. As often as you like during your turn, you may move a fire energy attached to one of your bench Pokemon to your active Pokemon. So as long as there's a great way to accelerate fire energy in the format available, this could be really, really strong. We do have the likes of Magma Basin and stuff like that available, which is really cool. Nothing really springing to mind of what else is available specifically for fire acceleration, but Magma Basin definitely is one that pops to mind. And that's really interesting because, of course, you can move the energy to this Torkoal and do its attack. So you can definitely see that these two cards are kind of made for each other. But that said, there's a lot of cards that are going to be able to fully utilize this. It's going to be interesting to see, especially maybe some more cards in this set that can help this type of ability. It's good. It's not game breaking, but definitely good. And here we have Gyarados EX, these terrestrial type. Now, I'm kind of concerned that the terrestrial ability or effect is literally just this Pokemon doesn't take any damage while on the bench. Looking at the Arcanine, it had exactly the same effect, and that's a different terrestrial type. So I have a bit of a fear, so to speak, this is going to be the only effect that terrestrial applies, which is still pretty good, but I think it's a bit of a missed opportunity, no? Wouldn't you want it to be more down the line of, what's it called again? Oh, bloody hell. Ancient Trait, that's what it is. Ancient Traits are the ones where it has a similar thing, right? Effectively just an extra effect on it, and it did vary, but this seems to be just this, and that's a little concerning. Also, I've heard down the windpipe that you're only going to get 1 terrestrial Pokemon per set. This just seems to be all that's there. It's a bit underwhelming, if I'm going to be honest, which is a shame. Anyway, that aside, this I was going to say Charizard. No. You're the blue Charizard of the first generation. Nothing really too spectacular, apart from Tyrannical Tail 180. If your opponent's active Pokemon already has damage counters 180 more. So it's just going to 1-hit KO pretty much anything. If it has damage counters, but it's 5 energy in its attack cost. That's a bit mental. This is the first time I've seen Wugtree. Oh, that's a beautiful Pokemon. Anyway, this one has a very interesting attack. Sea Tunneling. Flip 3 coins for each heads. Discard the top 3 cards of your opponent's deck. So it's a mill card? Yeah, that's quite interesting. If Sea King's anything to say, right? Sea King is a lot easier to get going because it's 1 energy. So for those who don't know, Sea King is flip 3 coins to discard an energy for each heads. This one could definitely be interesting, but I think for the time being, I don't know where Durant is going to go, if it's going to rotate out. Let me check quickly, actually. No, Durant doesn't rotate out just yet. It's regulation mark E, which means it's not going to rotate, which means it's probably probably better than this, ultimately. But it's interesting to see how that will definitely go, especially with like likes of Glimwood Tangle and stuff. Definitely interesting. But yeah, nothing too crazy. Just wanted to, you know, show it off. Oh, wow. That's a whale. That's for sure. What the hell? Don Dozo. Look at you, cheeky little beefy boy with a little thingy in the mouth. Anyway, the attack on this is really, really cool. Vent Wrath. 50 damage. This is 50 damage for each Tatsugiri in your discard pile. So, Tatsugiri is also a basic Pokemon. I'm assuming this is like the wishy-washy gimmick. I don't know. Again, I haven't played Scarlet and Violet. I'm just making guesses here. But we're here for the Pokemon cards. This is good. This is definitely good, especially with Ditto, right? Ditto being able to copy the attacks of basic Pokemon. This is a basic with 160 HP as well. Okay, this is definitely going to be an interesting deck. Being able to just get all these Pokemon in a discard pile, this isn't like the Gyarados deck where you have to find a way to get the Gyarados out or anything down that line, although I think I'm confusing the attack somewhat. But the fact that you could just put this into play with 160 and just find ways to get these in the discard pile to hit a maximum of 200 straight damage is really strong for a single prizer deck. So that's interesting, and I'm definitely going to be checking that one out. Kilowattrel has a card that's a bit underwhelming, unfortunately, for a stage 2, but then again, it is the basic bird evolution that you get in every single generation. The only thing that's really of note is maybe that Skill's Eye, 50 damage to one of your opponent's Pokemon, don't apply weakness or resistance. You know, this Thunder Blast for 140, discard Lightning Energy, isn't anything spectacular. There's going to be a lot of Lightning support, if I'm correct in the format, I think. I don't know if this benefits too much from it. We'll just have to wait and see, but it definitely has some support for Lightning, because Lightning's going to be really good. I just don't think it's that great. And of course, we have this Gardevoir EX. Again, Stage 2 EX. So it's basically a blend of the EX era and the GX era, which is really, really cool about this this Scarlet and Violet set. So just to show quickly, these are the evolution lines. This Curlier does 60 plus 20 for each energy attached to your opponent's active Pokemon, but of course, people are going to be using the one with the trade ability if they are playing Gardevoir, so, you know, that's nothing to really note. But this Gardevoir, we've seen it before, but just for a recap, as often as you like, this is the Psychic Embrace ability. As often as you like, during your turn, you may attach a basic Psychic energy from your discard pile to one of your Psychic Pokemon. If you do, put two damage counters on that Pokemon. Loads of people are already looking at healing cards to deal with this, and there's plenty around, so this Gardevoir is definitely going to be cool and interesting, and definitely will have its own deck, that's for sure. To accelerate energy like that is going to be really, really strong. So yeah, definitely looking forward to seeing how this card pans out, what it's going to be paired with. Is it just going to be Gardevoir? I don't know. I think it's going to be interesting. Yeah, just wanted to kind of put that one out there, even though we've already seen it. This one's cool. Drifloon. This attack down here, known as Spread Curse. Put 8 damage counters on your opponent's Pokemon in any way that you like. Be interesting to see this in a Lost Box, but I think the attack cost is just too much, plus it's a stage 1, so it's a bit too awkward, but it'd be love to see this combined with Sableye. That could be really strong and interesting, but other than that, yeah, I guess you can see this is kind of made for the Gardevoir archetype, so to speak, with its energy cost being so high, but it's a very strong attack. A lot of you are fans of Datchspun, may be a bit disappointed. This card isn't that great. Prevent all damage done to this Pokemon attacks from opponent's fire Pokemon. This Pokemon cannot be burned, so it's just the most anti-fire card there is. Fire's not that strong as it is, and I don't see it becoming strong anytime soon, unless I see something else in this set that really breaks it. It's not that great, unfortunately, so a bit of a disappointment there. Aha, Lucario. You gotta be good, mate. You're a Lucario, okay? Your people's favorite. 30 plus 120, so 150 damage if any of your fighting Pokemon were knocked out by an attack from your opponent's Pokemon during the last turn. So a revenge attack, of course, coming in and doing 150 is very strong. I guess it's something worth playing in if you are playing in a fighting deck. Stage 1, though, a bit more awkward. And the alternate attack, 120, and it can't use that accelerating stab the next turn isn't that great. Will be some use for this, but nothing groundbreaking. Now, this is interesting. Nothing too wild, so to speak, but this Crocodile has, there's the Voracious Bite, 50 damage, flip a coin to get tails for each heads discarding energy to attach to your opponent's active Pokemon. So it does 50 damage plus energy discard and potentially infinite discard. Definitely want to partner with Glimwood, and for a single energy, it's not bad. But what's more interesting is the double energy attack Earthquake. 2 fighting energy isn't that crazy, especially on a 170 HP Pokemon. Granted, it's stage 2, so there's that awkward level of it. But, you know, 180, this attack does 30 damage to each of your bench Pokemon. I don't think that's too much of a cost for something, such a strong attack. I don't think it's going to be groundbreaking, but definitely cool and definitely in the books when it comes to road decks, that's for sure. Simple damage counter sniping here with the Hawlucha. Flying entry, when you play this Pokemon from your hand onto your bench during your turn, you may choose 2 of your opponent's bench Pokemon and put 1 damage counter on each of them. I don't know when the rotation is occurring, but if there's ever a scenario where this and Scoop Up Net exists in the same format, this is going to be very, very strong. Just being able to ping damage down like that is really strong. It's a better version of Zigzagoon, and Zigzagoon has seen play, so there's no chance that this won't in some way or another. I can't think of any decks that are really going to make the most use of it, but I wouldn't be surprised if this Hawlucha doesn't see play. It's basically, yeah, as I said, better version of Zigzagoon. Granted, it can't put it on the active like Zigzagoon can, but it's definitely useful. So yeah, want to see how this one pans out too. Another interesting attack. Right, Violent Dust Cloud for 3 fighting, 1 colorless. Discard 2 energy from this Pokemon, then your opponent shuffles their active Pokemon, all cards attached to it, into their deck. Okay, if there's an effective form of fighting acceleration, I know Koraidon accelerates if I'm correct, but ends the turn. But if there's a way to use this, I don't know about Colossal. I don't know if it rotates or specifically, but if that exists in this format, if there's a way to accelerate to this every single time, you are basically forcing your opponents to shuffle every single turn, shuffle a Pokemon away, effectively potentially winning by just clearing the board. It's a long shot, right? But that's kind of potentially viable depending on whether or not you can get the 2 energy back on it the turn after. And if there's a way to do that, this is going to be very fun. I am going to be looking forward to that. Some next level disruption, mate. Oh, mental. It's a shame we didn't get to see, like, I don't know why, Great Tusk. I just want to see as a terrestrial. Don't know why, but we've already seen this one, if I'm correct, before. Just to recap, 40 damage, discard a stadium in play for the first attack, not too great. This one, 3 fighting, 250. It does 50 damage to itself. Potential 1-hit KO attack. Kind of made to combine with the next card here, which is Koraidon. Already seen this one before. Again, I've already made my comments on it. I don't think it's going to be anything too groundbreaking, but, well, you never know. You never know. It's basically a worse version of Zacian. Once during your turn, you attach up to 2 basic fighting energy cards from your discard pile in any way that you like. The ability ends your turn. And also specifically only to basic, so you can't attach it to evolutions. A lot of setbacks just for attaching 2 energy from the discard pile. As I said, I've already said my thoughts. I don't think it's anything crazy. We've already seen it before, so I'll skip past that. Then we have Muck, which always has an interesting ability all the time. The special condition Poisoned is not removed when your opponent's Pokemon evolve or devolve. That's cool. Combine that with a Weezing, and you got something very cool going on there. But yeah, I just always want to point out a Muck because they always have something going on, and it can combine with Survivor. Although the attack cost is a bit, I don't like the the darkness double colorless. Not a fan, but it's there. There's a way to get it going quicker than there is, but it's supposed to go with that Weezing, 60 plus 120 if poisoned, so it does 180 damage. So I guess it makes sense on that scenario. Actually, that said, the poison on top effectively means you're doing 190, returning 200 for this measly card. It's cool, but it's low HP, high attack costs. You know, I can't really think of anything that could really make use of this apart from Dark Patch. And, you know, I don't know if Moltres V is rotating or anything down that line. But there's things that could be used here, I guess. But it's going to be a bit of an interesting and a bit of a finicky deck. A bit too techy, in my opinion. But not one that I'm not going to try, that's for sure. Well, does that Muck work better with Toxicroak EX? All right, let's see what this bad boy does. Also, I really like the kind of poison spreading down here. It's really nice. Right, so this is a stage 1, so it does have to evolve. 250 HP is very low for a 2-prize stage 1. We have V-Stars around still, and they will still be around with more. So it has to have something good going on. Nasty Plot, search deck for up to 2 cards, put them into your hand, shuffle your deck. Mani Resistant, Hand Disruption. You know, those things aren't good when it comes to this attack. They're just going to be able to, you know, get rid of those a lot of times. Granted, there'll be a lot of turns where it's Nasty Plot's going to get you what you want, but then you're kind of sitting there with 250 HP, Donny in the active, waiting to get hit, and you potentially getting disrupted anyway. Nasty Plot is not good for this card. Toxic Ripper, 120. Your opponent's active Pokemon is now poisoned, put 6 damage counters instead of 1 between turns. Now, granted, that Muck definitely gives it a little bit of a boost, but we have stronger poison attackers in the format already. I'm thinking of the likes of Galarian Sea King, and that hasn't really shown to be anything too groundbreaking. Granted, it's a 3 prizer. This is a 2 prizer, but this one has a awkward attack cost. I'm not too pleased with it, I think, if I'm honest. But again, it all depends on how things go with it in the future, what support comes out. But currently, I'm not too happy with this card. It's just too weak. The attack is a bit weak. Yeah, unfortunately, it's a bit of a letdown. So Bisharp got an evolution in form of King Gambit. I've only just known this. Let's see what this one does. As long as this Pokemon is in play, the attacks of your basic Pokemon do 30 more damage. What? Bro, you're just gonna put in a built-in choice belt on this bad boy? No way. Okay, and this probably stacks, right? Stage 2, granted, but this is gonna be fun. I'm gonna find some terrible basic single energy attacker and just throw a bunch of King Gambits in there and have some fun. This is gonna be cool. This is very rogue. I like this. I like this a lot. And here we are at the card that we have been waiting for. I, again, have just learned of this card. Reverum, stage 1, 140 HP, 2 retreat cost, which isn't that bad. Ability, Rumbling Engine. You must discard an energy from your hand in order to use this ability. Once during your turn, you may draw until you have 6 cards in your hand. It is a stage 1 Genesect. Granted, you have to discard an energy. That's not that big of a deal, right? If you play a higher energy count, you know, we've seen how good Greninja is. And Greninja, I think, is still going to be around, so you can put Greninja on top. This stacks, though. Bro, this is mental. It's absolutely wild. And it synergizes with Metal Saucer, although I don't know if that's rotating or not. Throwing a bunch of energy at discard pile, but that said, you don't have to use metal. It doesn't say discard a metal energy. You can use it with any. So you can just throw this in a deck that likes to have energy in the discard pile, say Palkia. Palkia could be a fun way to use this, funnily enough. Considering the Inteleon engine is rotating out, I think this would make more use in Palkia than Bibarel, right? Discarding water energy to allow for its V-Star power, to allow for Melanie plays. This seems a bit nuts in Palkia, in my opinion, but this is just off the top of the dome. Maybe other things I'm not taking into account. But yeah, this is really cool. And honestly, this is going to be extremely interesting. And definitely is one of the more powerful draw supporters I've seen in playing the game so far. It's a... Granted, Bibarel is just 1 less, but I'm sorry, that 1 extra card is going to be a huge deal. Granted, you know, there's the caveat that you have to have an energy, but there's a bunch of energy recovery in the format anyway that you could reuse things with. I don't know if Training Court's rotating. Let's look at that quickly. Okay, Training Court does rotate, unfortunately, so you're not going to have that option, but there will be things like energy recovery with energy retrieval and stuff like that. So, you know, there's ways around this kind of caveat, you know, definitely playable and play-aroundable, so to speak. So, yeah, this is kind of a nuts card. And here we have basically an Obstagoon reprint, just worse. The Staravia, we have to spin away 60 damage during your opponent's next turn. Prevent all damage done to this by basic Pokemon. So it's just basic Pokemon block. Definitely fun in, you know, coming up against something like a Lost Box and stuff, but, you know, not really worth playing just for that. Although it does have that Power Blast, 180 discarding energy from this Pokemon. 180 is a strong attack, discarding energy. It's perfectly fine, especially for colorless. You can use things like, well, any form of acceleration that allows you to accelerate to any particular cards, and also twins and turbos and stuff. So, you know, cool, but nothing too amazing. I did not know we were getting an Oinkologne. Oh, the Pokemon in this generation are cool, man. I need to get Scarlet and Violet. Right, Oinkologne EX. I haven't seen this one before. Fragrance Fury, 10 plus 30 more damage for each of your opponent's bench Pokemon. 1 colorless energy for that attack. You're doing 3, 6, 9, 12, 15 max. So you're hitting 160 for 1 energy. Honestly, pretty cool, but, you know, relying too much on your opponent's side of the field, which means it's not that great. Well, the other attack, Heavy Stamp 210, flip a coin. This Pokemon can't attack during your next turn, is something you can fall back on. And again, it's colorless, so you can use other forms of acceleration. You've got Dunsparce and you've got Shaman's Care and all that kind of stuff. So there's something in here. There's definitely an archetype, but, you know, we'll have to see how it goes. Right, so into the trainers. We already have the ones we know. Palpad is coming back in. Pretty cool. Nestball is returning. So if you have some secret rares of these bad boys, definitely get ready to knock them out because they are coming back. For those who don't know, as Nestball is search it for a basic Pokemon and just put it onto your bench. So it's a single version of Battle VIP Pass without it needing to be on your first turn. You know, for those who have kind of joined in this generation or the Sword and Shield era. Very, very good and very, very strong. So it's good good that we have something to replace Quick Ball once it rotates. EXP shares coming back. Nice. I don't know why this card always comes back. It never really sees play, but it always just is there. Defiant Band is definitely one of interest. Reminiscent of like the counter cards that existed in the Sword and Shield era that had strong effects only if you were ahead in prize cards. This is one of them, kind of following suit from those types of cards. If you have more prize cards remaining than your opponents, the attacks of the Pokemon this card is attached to does 30 more damage. So it just gives you a little damage buff if you are ahead on prize cards. Effectively, your opponent is winning the game at that point. Really cool. A bit of a shame, though. I like something that's just straightforward, consistent, right? You're just going to do 30 more damage, but Choice Belt, I think, is staying for a little bit longer, actually. Let me double check that. Yeah, Choice Belt's Regulation Mark F. So Choice Belt's going to be staying anyway, so I guess this is just an alternative to that could come in. It's a good card that will see play. I just don't know if it's going to be necessary now with Choice Belt still running. But really interesting to see, though, this combining with King Gambit. And also, bearing in mind, one thing this has over Choice Belt is it doesn't actually specifically state it does 30 more damage to Vs, or like, is it Vs and GXs? I don't remember what Choice Belt specifically says, but Vs anyway. This is to any Pokemon. So single prizes also get hit with this bad boy with that extra 30. So that's quite interesting and good as well. And now we have some of the supporters. We have Jacques in here. Search deck for 2 evolution Pokemon cards, fill and put into your hand, shuffle your deck. Yeah, no. There's better routes available to that. You have Ultra Ball and stuff like that. I don't know if Evo Incense is rotating. I think it is, but we still have ways to find Pokemon that is just not necessary for this. So I don't think it's going to be too crazy. But then again, probably we'll see play in some sort of road deck here and there. We have Team Star Grunt, putting energy attached to your opponent's active Pokemon to the top of their deck. Really good for disruption, which is going to be interesting to see how that turns out with like the Durant or stuff like that. It effectively turns Durant into discarding energy, which is cool. So this may definitely see play, it will definitely see play in disruption, I think. So it's nice to see that, although I'm not a fan because I hate being someone that comes up against disruption. It ain't fun. Research coming back in Professor Sada, so that's good. And we have Penny. Return one of your basic Pokemon in play and all cards attached to it into your hand. That is nuts. It is an Acerola, but for basic Pokemon, and they don't have to have damage on it. That's crazy. Absolutely ridiculous. The amount of combos you're going to see with this is nuts. And it's good because the biggest issue is basic Pokemon like Basic V and what will be basic EXs are too weak for the likes of V-Stars. We need something that makes you want to play EXs and make them strong. And this is just going into that, which is so good. Right, so we have the Beach Courts available as well. Retreat cost of each player's basic Pokemon is 1 colorless less. This is going to go well with Miraidon, which we'll definitely look at soon. And there's other things that can make use of this as well, but it's a really good stadium. I think it's cool. I think it's interesting. I could turn 1 retreat Pokemon into 3 retreaters, so that's really good. Yeah, that was the translation from the Scarlet EX set. Now we've got the Violet EX set. So let's take a look at some of these bad boys. This Pokemon here is basically a reprint of the Butterfree archetype, where you have Scatterbug and Spewpa that can just evolve the turn it's played. So you can get this out turn 1 with the Miracle Power, 50 damage, flip a coin if heads. You could choose the special condition affecting your opponent's active Pokemon. So it's cool. Definitely some paralysis stuff going on there. That's interesting. But other than that, it's just a reprint of that archetype. We have a new EX available, Speedops EX with the Trap Territory ability. Your opponent's active Pokemon retreat cost is 1 more. Nothing too crazy. This does 30 damage for each energy in your opponent's active Pokemon's retreat cost. So it stacks. It doesn't state that it's specifically when you're in the active. So you can have 4 of these in play and increase your opponent's active Pokemon's retreat cost by 4. I think there's other cards in the format that can do more damage with an extra retreat cost. I'm thinking of, obviously, Leafeon, but I don't know if Leafeon rotates by the time this comes out. But if that exists in the same format, Leafeon just got a lot stronger. And also, Galamine. I don't know if that rotates either. Unfortunately, Galamine does rotate. But I don't know the exact dates for when this comes out and when rotation occurs. I'm assuming it's definitely close, or rotation occurs before this comes out, I think. So I don't know. I don't know specifically. Let me know in the comments, but I don't think it's going to be an increase. Hold on. We have a walking tentacle? What? Toadschool. Oh my god, that's amazing. And it evolves into Toadschool. I had no idea about this. Right, so a grass type version. Right, does it do anything special? You may choose energy attached to your opponent's active Pokemon, move it to one of their bench Pokemon, and flip your coins, 80 damage each hit. Yeah, okay. It's not that great. And here we see the Arcanine. I've gone in this in a lot more detail. I'm not going to take too much time now because this video is definitely knocking on a bit. So if you want to see that, check the video on the top left-hand side of the top right-hand side of the screen, where I do go in a bit more detail about this. So we're just going to leave that there for now. Houndoom's going to combine well with that, the Pokemon that has Rouge in its name. I forgot its name. Armor Rouge, I think. Yeah, 150 and then just discarded energy. Again, useful with that Armor Rouge deck. Just wanted to point it out. It's a good attack, good damage. Stage 1 though, but a single prize. There's pros and cons. Just want to say that's something you could use. Oh, Mewtwo just got a new friend. As often as you like, during a turn, you may move a damage counter from one of your Pokemon to this Pokemon. Yeah, healing decks that like to tank and heal are gonna love this kind of stuff. Definitely a good card. It's just a weaker version of the Gengar, if I'm correct, but Gengar can move it to any Pokemon, so I guess there's that. So I guess it's not going to be that good in a Mewtwo deck now that I think about it, but that's not to say that this card won't see play in some sort of way or won't have some sort of utility elsewhere. A cool ability though to see. The same applies for Magnezone with my Arcanine. Again, check out that video to see that there. Look at this bad boy. Pachirisu does 20 damage for each of your lightning benched Pokemon. So it's going to do 5, 10, 15, 20. Wait, what? 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 100 damage, 110 maximum. But again, Lightning is going to be very, very good. I think there's going to be some more stuff coming out to support it. This could be good. We'll have to backtrack to this when we see the other Lightning Pokemon available here in its abilities. I forgot what Miraidon does. I think Miraidon searches specifically for bench Pokemon. So this could be a simple single energy, not sorry, single energy is 2 energy, but a single prize attacker that can come into offset prize cards and just do a little bit of extra damage in a Miraidon deck. Oh, this Pawmot is really looking fun. Right. So it has the charge of ability. Once during your turn, you may search your deck for a basic lightning energy and attach it to this Pokemon, then shuffle your deck. So it's just straight energy acceleration to it. And then you have Electropore, 230 damage. Discard all energy from this. Throw this into a Fluffy deck, baby. But I don't know if Fluffy rotates or not. I can't be bothered to check now. I've been checking everything. Okay. Couple energy switches. I mean, don't get me wrong. It's got to have a bit of a workaround, and it is a stage 2. But it definitely looks funky, and I like funky. Oh, yeah. Lovely. And here's that Miraidon. I absolutely adore this card. Go ahead and search 2 Pokemon. Just lightning Pokemon, throw them to your bench. Lovely. It has free retreat with that training court and stuff like that. Not training court. Is it training court? No, training court's one you can recover energy. But either way, very good. Very, 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 very good. Hypno's interesting. Just flip a coin and use your opponent's attack as its attack. Could be a good tech in a Psychic deck, although it's a stage 1, which is a bit awkward tech-wise, as its own deck isn't going to be anything good. Oh, baby. We have a new version of Item Look. Oh, no. And it's 1 energy, which is even worse. Eternal Darkness, 30 damage. Your opponent can't play any item cards from their hand during their turn. This is a bit mad. Going second, you could go ahead and item lock your opponent from the game very, very comfortably. Just being able to attach 1 energy to do it is really strong. And then Poltergeist to follow up. Look at your opponent's hand. This attack does 60 damage for each trainer card in your opponent's hand. Item lock plus Poltergeist? That's definitely something to take note of. It's going to be a deck that definitely will see play, I think, in the future. I think that's really good. I do think that's really, really good. Kind of scared of it, actually. Here's a little counter to Lost Box. We have Klefki. As long as this Pokemon is in the active spot, each player's basic Pokemon in play have no abilities. Oh, yes. It's basically a better version of Empoleon. Empoleon was, basic Pokemon aren't Vs, have no abilities. This one just says all basic Pokemon have no abilities. This is definitely going to see play, I think, in one way or another. A really, really cool card for hit and run, which is interesting. I actually recently just done a video on Morpeko V hit and run, and if there's going to be other hit and runs coming up, this is going to be really, really strong. Just removing basic Pokemon abilities is so good. Yeah. This will see play. It's basically Wobbuffet, although a little bit weaker. If you don't know, Wobbuffet was the same card, but it just removed all abilities, if I'm correct. Or no, I don't know, actually. I don't remember. But it was out ages ago. This will see play. Without a doubt, very, very strong card. Annihilate. What an incredible looking Pokemon. Oh my god, I have seen this one before, and I wondered what it was. Stage 2. This attack does 70 damage for each prize card already taken by your opponent. That is an incredibly strong late game attack. So, after 2 prizes being taken, that's 140. After 4, you're already doing 280 for 1 energy. And the fact that it's stage 2 means you can kind of, build up with different attackers in a fighting deck, so to speak, play ahead and just build this up on the bench while you're playing along, making it a lot easier to get up. The fact that this relies on more late game potential means that you have more time to get it going and you don't need the speed to set up stage 2, which kind of offsets that a little bit. Obviously, there's a lot more cards you have to commit to the deck to do this, but I think this is a really strong card. That attack alone is really powerful. Then you have Dynamic Punch for 170, does 50 damage to itself for 2 fighting energy. Don't think it's going to be that crazy, but that said, this is absolutely mental. Really wild. Imagine combining this with that Crocodile deck. Just have like 2 stage 2 fighting Pokemons with decent single energy cost attacks. I don't know. It's fun. I definitely will try this out and has, the late game potential. And look, we've seen late game potential cards see play. We've seen that Galarian Moltres come in. We've seen Charizard. Late game high damage potential is always good. Granted, this is stage 2. But I think it's very, very strong. Here's one for Glimwood Tangle. Spiritomb with that Destruction Verdict. Flip 2 coins. If both are heads, your opponent's active Pokemon is just straight knocked out. This is familiar. Reminds me of some sort of card in the format. Ah, yes. This is exactly the same attack as Jirachi. That's the one. Radiant Jirachi. First off, I remember making a Radiant Jirachi solo deck, and it was actually quite good. The Flip 2 coins KO attack is interesting, especially with the likes of Glimwood. So throw that in there, and then you got some extra stuff. Interesting. Love it. We mentioned Hit and Run before, and here we have the card for it. Now, take into account the, I forgot what the card's called, but the one that discards an energy and draws 6, and of course, Metal Saucer. Let's see if that rotates or not. Oh, Metal Saucer does rotate, which kind of sucks because it would have been absolutely broken here. Just pointing out, I don't know when the rotation plus the set releases occur, but I have a feeling they're very close. So first off, it has the triple laser, which is 30 damage to 3 of your opponent's Pokemon. Pretty cool for just setting up some late game KOs and stuff like that, but it's not a great attack in my opinion. Although that said, we'll have to see how it pans out. I haven't really seen an attack like this before. I've seen similar ones and they've been good, but not groundbreaking, especially for 3 colorless energy. But yeah, we have the Cybernetic Wheel for 3 metal, 1 colorless, 160, switch it with one of your bench Pokemon. Of course, goes well with that Clef Key, which is great, which means once you do charge it up and it goes to the bench, you're going to have more turns with it, technically speaking. I don't know if Diancie rotates, but if it doesn't, Diancie is going to be a good option as well to switch into, similar to Morpeko, but Morpeko does it better. So I don't know why I would go with this over Morpeko, to be honest with you. And even then, Morpeko works with the other card I was going to note, which is the one that, discards energy, draws 6, because of course it works well with the Flaffy. So yeah, I kind of prefer Morpeko, but if Morpeko is rotating, this is going to be interesting. But unless there's really strong metal acceleration, this ain't going to do much. And I'm assuming there probably is, considering that they has such a high cost, but we'll have to wait and see. This is an interesting ability. Once during your turn, you may shuffle your hand and return the cards to the bottom of your deck without looking at them. Then draw a card. What? So if you have a dead hand, right, and you're like, okay, I don't want anything, and you have, I don't know, a big barrel, whack this bad boy down, you can be like, okay, I'm just going to get rid of the hand now, just get 1 card and then draw fresh cards. That's kind of wild on a basic 60 HP Pokemon. That's so weird, but I kind of like it. Once during your turn, you may shuffle your hand and return it to it's basically a weak Marnie. Obviously, there's no hand disruption on your opponent's side of the field. I'm going to experiment with this because that looks insane. What? Obviously, it's not that great on its own, but combined with other draw supporters that you have available, at that point, you are taking up a lot of bench space. But what a strange ability on a strange Pokemon, but I kind of dig it. We have the Mouse Hold here. So it has the family attack. This is 70 damage for each of your Mouse Hold in play. So if you have 4 in play, 280 damage. This ain't no joke, mate. Whack it in a Zoroark deck. Whack Zoroark in this deck, so you can obviously make sure you have as much in play as possible, and you're hitting some good numbers. On average, you're going to have 2 or 3, which means you're going between 140 and 210, which is still very, very good. Another little cheeky archetype available that Zoroark's going to definitely make use of, that is going to make use of Zoroark. I have to make sure I get that the right way around, because this isn't going to be great in a Zoroark deck. Zoroark's going to be great in this deck. Little cheeky rogue boy. Definitely look at that, boy. Yeah. Here we are at the trainer cards for the Violet version of the set. Granted, these are 2 separate sets in Japan, but I think it's all coming out into one. Electricity Generator. Look at the top 5 cards of your deck. Choose up to 2 basic lightning energy cards and attach them to your benched lightning Pokemon in any way that you like. Yeah, just simple and effective acceleration, very much reminiscent of, I believe, is it Max Elixir? I don't remember, but very, very, very good. Just again, another buff to the lightning archetype. Obviously going to work well with Miraidon. Obviously you need to have, good hits here and there. You may be worth playing some cards that can help you kind of guarantee the energy coming out. I believe Oranguru rotates, but Switching Cups is available, but then it gets a bit awkward. But hey, it's a good card. You could just throw 4 of them in a deck. There's really nothing wrong with just playing it and going for it. So yeah, very good. Just an extra buff for lightning cards. not a bad shout. We have Picnic Basket, heal 30 damage from all Pokemon in play, both yours and your opponents. And we also have Rare Candy. So we have Rocky Helmet. We already know what that does. Katie, using this card ends your turn. Shuffle your hand into your deck and draw 8 cards. One extra card to end your turn over the likes of a Research. It's Shuffle, Draw. I think Research is just better. We have Arven as well. Search deck for an item card and a Pokemon tool card. Reveal them, put them into your hand or your deck. This is just kind of emphasizing the rule change. Going, okay, for those who don't know the rule change, this card's here just to kind of show it off. Item and a tool, they're different, okay? Definitely useless when you're playing against a Burnett though, isn't it? Right, we have Miriam here. Choose up to 5 Pokemon cards. If you discard pile, reveal them and shuffle into your deck. Then draw 3 cards. Ooh. Oh, I like that for a late game card. Just recovery of Pokemon and draw 3. Not bad. Mesagosa, the stadium card, looks really good. Once during each player's turn, that player may flip a coin. If heads, they search their deck for a Pokemon card, reveal it and put it into their hand and shuffle their deck. Basically, a free chance to search for Pokemon is great. I like that. I really do like that. I don't know how much play it's going to see, but there's decks that are definitely going to make use of this. Granted, it's coin flip, so you're just kind of banking, but if you don't have an effective stadium to play in your deck, just whack this in there. Right, just throw it in there. So, right, okay, there's no stadium I can think of that's going to make the best use of the deck that I'm playing. Just throw this in there to just increase the consistency of your deck. That's really good. It's just a standard stadium to play in placement of not having one. So that's why I think it's really strong. Right, so we have some additional cards to note here. Nothing too crazy on this side, to be honest with you. There's Lucario EX here, which we've already looked at again in that video aforementioned. And we also have Stonejourner here, which I think just does 20 less damage to attack, nothing too crazy. And then you go into some more trainer cards. We have Energy Search reprinting, Energy Switch is coming back, Potions coming back. We've already discussed Nest Ball and Ultra Ball. Pokegear is coming back, which is really, really good. Switch is guaranteed Pokemon Catcher. So you see a lot of cards in here that are just coming back because they're probably rotating out and they're like, right, we don't want to get rid of them. Judge is also one of those cards coming in. Shuffle, just draw 4 from each side. We have Youngster. Shuffle, hand into your deck and draw 5, which is just a Shauna reprint, which is interesting. And then we have the most disappointing card, because apparently this is a fan favorite character, Nemona, just draw 3. Which is such a shame, isn't it? We have Skelly Dirge, or Skelly Dirge, I don't know how it's pronounced. Nothing too crazy on its attack side of things. We have Ampharos, which we've looked at before as well. One to note is this Quackavol. That's a terrible name. Once during your turn, you may attach a basic energy from your hand to one of your Pokemon. Just simple energy acceleration. Okay. So not crazy, but definitely stackable, which is cool. I guess I could see playing one way or another, but I think we already have something like that in Swampert, and Swampert doesn't see play. So, and I haven't even looked at that card for a long time. So, Mimikyu EX we've looked at before, not really great, just a heads up there. The beloved Crushing Hammer comes back, which is great news. Vitality Band comes back, which probably means that they may not be looking, especially with that other band we saw, may not be looking to reprint something like a Choice Belt or a Choice Band, that we're probably going to have this or the other band. I forgot the name, the one that does more damage if you're ahead on prizes. So that's kind of a hint towards that. But anyway, that's back. And that's pretty much it. So I've been recording for an hour, Jesus Christ. We have had a pretty in-depth look at all of the useful and interesting cards coming out in Scarlet and Violet. Definitely some interesting stuff. This, though, is absolutely groundbreaking. What a broken card. Yeah, definitely can't wait to see how this one pans out. Really, really interesting set. Really, really interesting stuff. And I'm honestly looking forward to it. So yeah, come on, Scarlet and Violet, bring it on, let's go. But with that all said, we're going to go ahead and leave it there. Do leave a like if you enjoy, please do subscribe for more, but most importantly, take care of yourself, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.